family darkest feeling deepest. Noble left to see the world. Map to find the key once lost. To save the many strengthened.
Welcome back, everyone! We've got another glorious episode of Followers of Mayhem. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to set us with music. There we go. Now you got a nice little backtrack. So, I'm still working on soundproofing this place, but you shouldn't be getting much background noise from my end, but if you do, I'm sorry about that in advance. Regardless, in the last episode, after agreeing to duel his father, Kagura's duel was interrupted by Allah, who dominated Herrig and forced him to chop off his own arm. Herrig is now in the jail cell right next to his sister, Licia. People were wandering around and absorbing the effects and aftermath of the situation. And now Kagura is preparing to go and talk to Mother. Take it away, Kagura.
I'll try. Okay. I'm just gonna have him go straight to the prison.
Yep. Okay. Let me just. Okay. Here, look. Let's try this. Okay, that one's not working. You know what? Let's just go with some howling wind. But that's not working either. Okay. There, some light rain. That'll do for now. I know you're in a demi-plane and it doesn't make sense, but you know, someone left the kitchen sink on, okay?
The kitchen sink that's sitting in the middle of the stables.
Yes, and doesn't have any wiring or plumbing or anything. Regardless, Derek is sitting on his pile of hay. Occasionally he'll fire off a single magic missile at his sister, who's currently crawled up in the very far corner of the other cell. And he's just like going, oh, stop it. Oh.
Enjoying yourself?
Very.
Looks like I'm gonna have to ask the others to get an anti-magic crystal somewhere.
I'm surprised you haven't gotten one in place already.
Well, some things kind of slip through the cracks when you're trying to save your kingdom from being usurped by a mafia.
No, it's fair.
But you wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Happy birthday.
I found I found these in your room after we fought. I show Kagura. I show Carrig the photos and stuff that he found in his parents' room.
You know, it's rude to go through someone else's belongings.
I might as well. I might as well. You're not gonna be. You're likely not. Like chances are, you're not gonna be going through them for a long time. Besides, I. Besides, there were things I needed to know.
Would you like your birthday gift?
I think. I think you've given me enough. Of recently. Thanks. As Kagura shows the Sunblade hilt. And I am keeping this, by the way. This belongs in my family, not yours.
Okay. I mean, you're 18. You're allowed to take whatever you want now. You know, I didn't. You're officially an adult. And he snaps his fingers, and you feel a brief presence land on top of your head.
And this is.
I put it on the map. This is a mirror dragon. Happy birthday.
These. I thought these were extinct.
Yeah, for the most part.
You're literally you're going to just hand me something this rare. Where did you even get this?
That's classified.
Of course. Oh, you're awfully and showing showing some consideration for your son. And awfully late now, don't you think? I mean,
Your birthday, you're now 18, you're officially an adult. There's your gift. You're also officially, legally allowed to take over the kingdom now. Whatever.
so that's it then. You're just going to give up and sit in here since you're not you're not gonna think about what you could do. Ooh, now that Jule isn't breathing down your neck.
I think I'll just sit here. So, quite comfy.
I saw the. I've seen the pictures. You've seen what you have. I've seen what's been written on the back. You used to care about this family. You used to care about me. What happened to you?
No response.
Did you just suddenly decide you don't care anymore? Or did Jule do something to you? Maybe about around the same time she took my memories from me? Yeah, I know about that. I got those memories back.
He leans back against the wall of the cage and he just fixes you with this bold look and he says, "What is it that you want?"
Kagura gives a frustrated sigh, and he goes, I want to know. I want to know you still that you can still care, that you can still be the man you were, or when Emeril and I were still really young. If now it's all of a sudden, now suddenly all you care about is impressing Jule, and you decide to give up now since there's no way you can do that in here.
This is a demi-plane, isn't it? He glances around briefly.
So what if it is?
I'd be straddled in a demi-plane.
That, which means Jule can't see or hear anything we say. So if there's something you would like to say, that you couldn't because of her, now would be the time to say it.
He regards you for a moment, sort of just taking you in, and briefly glances to the dragon that's on your head before the dragon lifts off, and then it's gone. It's turned invisible. Then he looks back to you and he says, I have no love for my mother.
Then why
Fiona does either.
Of course she doesn't. That's why she ran away. What about you? Why, if you didn't care at all for her, why do this? Why betray a the royal family, your wife, your daughter, me, your own son? You betrayed us all for someone you don't care, you don't have any love for. That makes no sense.
Funny how that works.
You still care. I know you do. There were so many other things you could have demanded from me, when you held the citizens hostage, but of all things, you just wanted to fight me one-on-one.
He lifts up a finger and then he says, oh, no, that was Jule's idea.
She put you up to that?
Yep.
The part about the duel, or the part about holding the citizens hostage?
Hostage.
What did she? Let me guess. She wanted you to hold the citizens hostage and force me and Fiona to turn ourselves over to her, right?
No, she just wanted them all killed.
What?
Yep.
They're completely innocent. Why would she kill them?
You know, Fiona hasn't seen this, but I have. I have seen when our mother is angry.
Are you saying that she tried to kill off all the people in Lundruk just to spite me?
I'm saying she's angry. That's all.
I guess even she can't stand it, and a bit of criticism, or rebellion, and here and every now and again, can she?
He just shrugs.
You want to know you want to know something about rebellions, Father? The people in charge often bring those on themselves. Whether the person in charge, whether that said person in charge wants to admit it or not. And whether Julie decides to admit her own failings as a leader, and all the things that she's been doing wrong and trying to take the entire island over, we don't care.
Okay.
What about you? What do you care about?
You see him think for a moment. And then he looks up and then he says, I care about my next cup of coffee. Yes.
You said funny. You seem to have mentioned and not having any coffee when you spared Sarai and the other rogues in the vault. Are you just Are you just making up excuses for yourself? Is your pride more worth saving than any bridges you might still have with me? Or are you so intent on burning everything down other than because you can?
I'm not really interested in burning things down. Kind of boring. Did you know that there are no kings of Londrock? Not officially. Officially, eh?
What about no kings? What are you talking about? If you weren't a king, then what were you?
Husband. But legally, there are no Londrock.
So I'm just on the throne for show until Emeril comes of age?
You would have been, yes.
Would have been?
No one's going to question you now, are they? Sorry, let me repeat that. I'm fiddling with my mic a bit. Let me try 37. Let's try this. No one's gonna question your rule now.
It can't be that simple. So if it's against the rules for Lundruk to have a king, that there has to be somebody that enforces those rules. Who does that? My mother, Julie, or maybe even Elnath?
You don't think that he sort of just tilts his head and gives you a puzzle book. You don't think a country is run by a single person, do you? There's an entire network of officials that help you do so. Actually killed one of those.
Yeah, because that official had you and Mother killed and almost took Emeril with you.
Oh. Those were Julay's order.
She ordered him to send those goblins after you?
No, she ordered those. Sorry, hold on. I'm just gonna move that for now, and I'll mess with my mic later. It's just not working right. So you're just gonna have to deal with some background noise. What was I saying?
You were saying that Julay was the one who sent the goblins after the royal family.
Yeah, Julay is the one that sent the goblins after us. How else do you think they got in?
She told us a lich sent them after you. Had us go destroy his phylactery.
She told you a lot of things, didn't she?
She did. I didn't. But none of the things she ever said came off as a lie. Even that nonsense about bringing peace and order to this island. And I'd figured that she was just simply telling herself that, to give herself the impression that what she's doing is right.
Sorry about the background noise, guys. But
I'm not hearing anything.
you might, but you might not. But the people who are watching the stream will.
Yeah.
She's very good at that.
Lying to herself as well as others. Have her charm spells gotten so powerful and out of control that she's using them on herself without even realizing it?
Well, what do you want from me?
The man and the cared about me that night. The one who told me the one who told me the one who told me why I had to stay home. The one who was ready to help me become the king. The one who comforted me when I was beside myself from the fact that I could have knowing that I could have been the one who destroyed everything I care about. I want that man back.
It was your mother's decision to stay in Prosh. She felt it safer. In the end, Julie has always been good at that.
So that's just it. Julie manipulating everything, manipulating you, my mother, everyone. It all comes back to her, huh?
He nods.
I guess I know what I have to do then. You had said you don't care about her, so I suppose you won't mind. I suppose you won't mind if I kill her. For trying to take everything away of me, from our family, for ruining for ruining what we could have been.
Carrick stands up, and then he slowly walks over to the edge of the cage. Do you glance over?
He does.
Let me just check that I'm remembering this right. Okay. Briefly, he vanishes into a brief shimmer of silver mist, and then he reappears right in front of you.
Kagura readies the Sunblade, aid in shock.
He just stands there for a moment.
Could have done that this whole time?
Oh yeah.
Were you waiting for me to come talk to you all this time? You knew.
Not really, but I figured you would come by.
So then, what are you trying to prove with this?
Nothing. He then starts to step forward. Do you do anything?
He is keeping the Sunblade ready in case he tries anything.
He walks forward and his hand reaches for you. Do you do anything?
If you do anything to me, you won't be making it out of this house alive. I was the one who wanted to spare you. To save you.
I'll take that risk. And for the
excuse me?
What?
Could Dennis technically hear this conversation from where he is at?
No, Dennis. You're playing
Okay, just
chess
checking.
with the Owlcat. What was I saying?
Something about how he was willing to take that risk, and then you
Right.
stopped there.
He says, I'm willing to take that risk. And for the briefest moment, you see his mouth slightly turn into a sort of smirk. And then he reaches out and he pats your head.
What is this?
He then turns, and with a shimmer of silver once more, he's back in the cage, where he sits down and just closes his eyes, leaning against the back wall.
Is that your way of giving me permission to kill Jule?
No response.
I'll take that as a yes. He starts to walk away from the cage.
You hear a brief flutter, and then you feel an invisible force land back on your head.
It looks like I have someone else to take care of now. That's fine. I've got a whole island to look after now.
Fiona and Alex, do you guys want to move to your conversation? Do you want to start voicing it?
I mean, not sure. Honestly, this I don't know. This is kind of a conversation that's going nowhere in particular.
Fair enough. Does anyone else
Just kind of spin. Sorry.
I mean, if Alex feels differently, then he can start it up.
No, I'm good. Anyone else want to have a go?
Yeah, I want to head to the
Okay.
library.
Alrighty, you head on over to the library where Fiona and Alex are.
Oh, wait. LNF is... She's gonna look for LNF in particular.
He's in his room, He's currently grounded.
She knocks on his door rather politely.
Yes, do you require something?
I was hoping to use one of the books you have.
You have the sufficient funds?
I do.
He opens the door and offers a hand.
Olar high fives it. You're grounded still.
He just gives this amused smile as he says, "You know, there's a spell called gravity."
I am not willing to test that. She hands him the golden set now.
He takes it with a little happy hum, and then he turns and places it down, where it just vanishes into thin air. And, Alex and Fiona, you briefly see the locked shelf that the magic books are on briefly shimmer, and then one book flies out, goes in an L shape where it goes down closer to the ground, and then flies out of the room. And then it just goes and hovers right beside Allah's hand.
Interesting.
Will that be all?
That'll be all.
Oh, pity. I would have liked to use the gravity spell. And then he
I would
slowly
like-
begins to close the door.
I would like to have my feet not break, thank you.
That's fair.
And then she'll go to the library and start studying.
Does anyone else have anything they want to do?
I got nothing. Gazur decides to take a nap.
Okay. Anyone else?
Other than Dennis just buying those things for his replacement subclass, not really.
Okay.
Lola?
Yes?
I can't seem to grab my token.
Let me glance at it. Okay, I see what the problem is. I'll fix that up. Okay. You should have control
Much-
now. But please
Much
don't
better,
move it.
thank you.
But please don't move it for a second so I can fix that.
Okay.
Okay, it should be all fixed now.
Okay.
So, the night slowly passes and a new dawn arrives. Whether you guys sleep or you spend the time talking, the morning eventually comes, though no light naturally comes to the demiplane.
Alright, well, Alex is just kind of waiting in the dining hall for everyone to show up.
Am I still studying the book? How long does it take?
You have to-
You got to read it for 48 hours over the course of less than a week.
Oof. Okay.
So it's
I
not
guess I'll
something you can do in a single night.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Vienna Vienna just powered her way through it, her whole thing, and then she had to sleep for like 2 days afterwards.
I'll do it in a course of a week then, I guess.
Okay.
Well, we've got the time, so you should be fine.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Allah. How you doing today?
I'm doing alright. Just waking up still.
Not much of an early rise, are you?
I've been studying for a little bit. Feel like I'm taking
Oh.
an exam or something.
Oh yeah, that book that went flying off the shelves that and I saw.
Yep.
And it's such a weird way of traveling. Like, it just floated off the shelf and then just got close to the ground and then just zipped along the floor like a mouse.
I felt like Ellen Matthews a gravity spell, even though he told me he wouldn't. Cheater.
Well, you know how he is. He likes to have things his way most often than not. I mean, like, seriously, if he could, he'd pretty much have nothing but dragon chocolates day in and day out.
Okay, so does already.
You'd be surprised Maid actually has to force him to have something different every now and again.
Good.
And she is scary when she is on the warpath, like, trust me, I've seen it.
Well, regardless, what's the plan? What are we gonna do now?
Well, my personal plan is, now that we have lunch wraps and probably trust some of our friends to keep the peace, as we, shall we say, while we are taking care of things. Next stop should be Frozen to see if we can't recruit the wizards, because, well, Wiztig and his students would probably be very, very, a good asset for us in this war.
Well, with most of our forces kind of spent taking over Lundruk, it would be good to have some fresh faces.
And, well, after that, as I've mentioned to Vienna before, we could start maybe recruiting the settlements that are a bit more disadvantaged, well, a bit more of a disadvantaged position. And with that, well, being a bit selfish, I would certainly like to go back to my hometown and make sure everything's okay. Even though we've captured the person who was in charge of it, well, the last I saw it, nowhere was silent, and that unnerved me. Plus, well, if we can convince the rest of the warlocks to be our allies in whatever upcoming fight that we have, then, well, I think you would all agree that a warlock's power it counts for a lot.
Hmm.
And after that, well, we should also hit somewhere as well, specifically, so that, well, now that we have 2 prisoners, I believe it's probably more prudent if we have a bit of an anti-magic field.
We should get it as soon as we can. My father showed me he could phase out of the cell anytime he wants.
Well, to be honest, I'm not too worried about him. He's just, well, he's given up.
Yeah, he has.
And plus, well, I mean, I don't mean to, in all seriousness, Kyra, I don't mean to shit talk your father, but even I could probably kick his ass.
Yeah. Now that he doesn't have this anymore, I'm sure you would. He holds up the Sunblade Hilt.
What even is that? I don't think I've seen anything like it before.
It's
That's the Royal Blade.
This is a Sunblade. It's been in my family's hands for, well, for a long time. I'm not sure exactly how long we've had it or where it came from, but it's one, as far as I know. Oh, it's one of my family's most powerful artifacts.
Well, what's it like to finally have it in your possession?
Admittedly, it feels empowering. I feel like I could take on anyone with this.
Don't get cocky, kid.
Vienna
Oh.
and Allah. While they've been talking, you both notice that a lot of the food that's been laid out has been slowly vanishing.
And I poke my food to see if it's some kind of illusion.
Your food bounces like food would, and then you see a bite taken out of it.
I just like swat at the air next to the bite.
You can't stop them from seeing the food disappearing. You might as well show yourself.
All our scarfs down the food.
You're up, and then slowly the mirror dragon appears on the table.
Where the fuck did you get a mirror dragon?
Like the moment Alex does this, he's like, no fucking way.
It's a visible lizard. Cool.
Visible. Do you have any idea what that is?
It's a lizard, right?
It's a mirror dragon.
Yeah, a mirror dragon.
Olar looks only confused at this. It's a
The
lizard,
dragon, as you look closer at it, is about the size of a hand, and the folds underneath its wings and the bit that would face downwards as it flies, you can see what appears to be some sort of field of bones with black figures slowly floating through it.
That's not ominous at all.
Okay,
These things. Sorry, go.
Okay, do I know what that field of bones with black figures might be? At all?
Roll me 1d20 to see if you've actually gone there. 'Cause you're one of the few people that might have gone there. But it's still it's still 50-50.
I'm guessing that's no.
You vaguely remember hearing maybe one tiny fragment about a field of bones, but you can't remember much more. It was when you were very young, while you were living in Prosh.
Can Gazura give it a try?
Nope.
Okay.
Only Fiona would it. Only Fiona
Never
would
mind.
because she lived in Prosh.
Never mind then.
Okay, so Kagra, I reiterate, where the fuck did you get a mirror dragon?
Father gave it to me as a birthday gift.
Where the fuck did he get a mirror dragon?
I don't know.
mate.
I guess. Who knows? I guess the syndicate is just a more resourceful group than we give it credit for.
By this point, your food has.
Probably dead. Oh, necromancy, right?
By this point, your food is all eaten. By the way, Vienna.
I glare daggers at the mirror dragon.
Its frill suddenly goes. This frill on the sides of its head suddenly flops upright, and you see 3 yellow eyes appear as it gives a hiss and flares its wings out as it tries to threaten you.
I keep glaring. I do not waver.
It then sees the food Alara offered and just bites into it, and now it's content and happy.
But yeah,
Alara,
anyway, a lot.
you briefly... Sorry, I'm nearly done. Alara, you briefly get the feeling of, like... It feels as if, mentally, it feels as if you're actually eating the bacon. Like, you can taste it, but you're not tasting it. It's both delicious and weird.
Oh god, I'm supposed to be vegan. No! I don't know. She was like, okay.
Alright.
Looks like
All right, but yeah, these things are supposed to be extinct, and honestly, if we're talking about the Syndicate here, yeah, well, I said maybe not that far off. But yeah, just to kind of summarize everything for you, Alar, that thing is like a pseudo dragon, but better.
You mean like with those green dragons we fought that one time, or we saw?
Pseudo dragons are smaller.
They're smaller than that.
Mm-hmm.
Are they all
They're
baby
smaller when they're
lizards?
grown adults.
You know how, Fiona's familiar about this. A pseudo dragon is about the size of Valen.
Dragons are weird. She just pokes at it.
Well, it's pseudo dragon. Dragons typically aren't really associated with pseudo dragons. It doesn't matter.
Pseudo dragon lizards with wings.
The pseudo dragon playfully pokes Alar back. And then it takes off, and with that, it vanishes.
You've won the battle, but the war is not over.
Kagura raises his left arm.
The mirror dragon appears on it.
All right. Well, anyway, now that we've been introduced to the latest member of the family, what do you all reckon of the plan?
Are you ready to go back to nowhere, knowing that everyone has already been evacuated except for the warlocks?
I'd be lying if I said I'm scared and nervous. Well, if I'm not scared and nervous, but well, I owe it to them. Sure, maybe I did hurt them a little, but they're my people. I can't just pretend like I never came from there. Like, none of the problems they're facing aren't my own problems. I need to go back.
And if they show resistance?
Somehow. Pun?
Yeah, if they show resistance?
I'd be heartbroken, probably. We'll deal with it as it comes. I need to go back. I need to make sure everyone's okay, and if I can, maybe protect them better than I could have done before.
What did Alex say? I spaced.
We're going to nowhere, I guess. He's gonna be heartbroken if we have to fight the warlocks.
Is there anything anyone wants to do before you head out?
Okay.
One more thing. Alex, you want to do something?
I just wanted to say, whatever happened, whatever you guys said, whatever happened there, I completely doubt because Discord was being stupid, but
I was asking what the last thing Alex said was because I spaced out.
he basically said I need to go back there because, basically showing a hero complex, more or less.
Alex, your father was the guildmaster, wasn't he?
He was one of them, but one of three. But as it stands now, he's probably the only guildmaster. I don't know where the traitor's gone off to. He probably died when all of the town blew up. The other guy, I have no idea where he is. Probably slacking off somewhere in Seaville.
Whatever the case, maybe your father will be able to turn the warlocks over to our side.
Maybe.
Speaking of fathers, you just see Carrick sort of casually walk into the kitchen, make himself a cup of coffee, and then just wander back towards where the cages are.
Vierna does not react to this in any way.
Grisera is like, what the hell?
Well,
I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I thought we locked those doors.
He can
They are
phase.
locked.
He can phase through them. He can turn himself into mist and phase through them.
Magic, remember?
Yeah, but don't you worry if he tries to bust Felicia out?
He hates Felicia. No one likes Felicia.
He's made. If there's one thing he's made clear to me is that he doesn't care about his family. Not even his mother.
Okay, then what's stopping him from, I don't know, turning this place upside down to find whatever
The fact
he
that
wants?
the fact that we'll kick his ass if he tries anything.
That doesn't say anything about what he'll do once we leave.
That's what I'm talking about. When we leave, who's gonna stay? Hey, and keep an eye on both prisoners.
Rura helpfully volunteers.
Well, there you have it.
It's looking like somebody's going to have to keep an eye on him until we can get the anti-magic crystal from the Colosseum.
Well, I say we discussed this enough, so game plan in summary, going over to Frozen, recruiting the wizards, then we're moving over to nowhere and somewhere to well, check on my home and to get that anti-magic crystal. And after that, well, I suppose we'll play it by ear after that, see if you guys reckon we need to get anyone else.
I say the magic crystal should be the first priority.
Fair
This is
enough.
probably true. Then we won't have to leave someone back.
Fair enough. Start with somewhere first, then we'll work our way down.
Alrighty.
But
That's
first, first the wizards.
Oh, okay.
You
No,
had
it's
something
okay.
you wanted to do?
I did for a while, now I forgot what it was, so it's not a big deal anymore.
Sorry.
It happens.
If you remember, let me know, okay? We can just rewind.
Okay.
So, you guys are currently in Lundruck. And I will move your token over, just give me a moment. So, where do you guys want to go first?
Somewhere.
Somewhere?
We need that crystal, and that's what I was better.
Do you stop
Fair
by,
enough.
Do you stop by nowhere on your way, or do you go straight to somewhere?
Somewhere first, and then we'll head into nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an 11-hour journey. And, yeah. So, you all fly over nowhere. Once again, you look around and the place is just quiet. Now, give me a second, and I'm just preparing and making sure all your tokens are here in that. Let's see. Okay. So I've got Kagura, I've got Grisura, I've got Dennis, I've got Awa. I need Vienna. And Grisura's there, and I need Alex. Okay. And there we go. You're all now in somewhere. The town seems relatively quiet and bustling. There's quite a bit of trade, you notice, happening around this hill here. It appears as if there's been some sort of makeshift trading center made there that people are using to, trade goods and everything. There's quite a large military force that's guarding the city. Not, you notice that there's no, drow or anyone that you could immediately pick out as someone from Prosh, but seems to be a lot of hired adventurers and, mercenaries and the like.
Just to see if there's anything under the surface, Vienna is going to cast True Seeing on herself.
Okay. Alright. So you see the little mirror dragon quietly sitting on Kagura with a little happy sway of their tail. See a couple of guards which are, oddly enough, they're hiding scars and the like, trying to look less rugged than they are, maybe the hiding scars and that. The only one, and can you just roll me a perception?
Sure thing. My passive perception is 20, if that makes any difference, but I'll roll.
I just want you to roll for me.
Sure thing. Here we go. 33.
Okay. Yeah, that would be enough.
I mean, I can already see through the fabric of time and space, so...
I'm just thinking. You do see someone you recognize on a boat.
And who might that be?
Lariska. They appear to be currently just loading in crates and boxes. And after a quick listening, you do hear that boat is destined for Fulma. Currently, she's just disguised as a simple human, something very unassuming, a dock worker.
Right, okay, I will think about that, and Vienna is currently pondering what to do with that information.
Regardless, you're all in the town. What do you do?
All right. Well, you guys go and see if you can't get your hands on that little magical crystal. I'm going to need Vienna, where do you think your talents will be most applied? With me in negotiations, or with getting that crystal?
If you're headed to nowhere, then I might go. Then I might go there too.
Oh well, not just right now. I mean more in the sense of, it seems like they've got a bit of a how would you call this, soldiers of fortune army going on. Maybe we can cut them a bit of a deal to join in with the revolution.
Oh. I mean, last time we did that, that we had to and we had to rob the entire castle treasury, I don't think we're going to be able to. There's no castle for us to do that this time, so I'm not sure what money you're planning on offering them.
Not necessarily money. Maybe they're good people. Maybe not. Well, we can try at the very least.
Never assume that. Pro tip, Alex: when they're mercenaries, they generally want money for their services. That's how mercenaries work.
I'm aware of this, and I don't care.
I'm sure Jule has more than Jule will have more than enough gold lying around when we take Prosh.
We'll be
Okay,
with the soldiers.
Prosh before we can get any of that money.
Well, you can go to get the crystal if you want.
Yeah, I guess I will.
The sooner we get the crystal, the sooner we can make our move on nowhere.
Alright.
Mhm.
So you head up to where the Colosseum is, and you see two. They're clearly mercenaries, but they look to be a little more trained than your typical guard mercenaries. They clearly recognize that you guys are very strong and capable. You're the followers. You look like you're those followers that I've been hearing about. What can we do for you?
Is Alex not with us? Or is Alex the one talking? Or is Alex the one talking to them?
I had the idea of going to see who's in charge and seeing if I can't convince them to join up with the resistance.
So what are you doing first? Are you getting the crystal or talking to the head one in charge?
Fuck it, crystal first. So yeah, Alex approaches it and says, "Hey there, guys, how you doing?"
Yeah, it's a living. What can we help you with?
You still got that magic crystal jammer thing deep in the dungeon somewhere?
Yeah, we've been using them as presents. You know, might as well make use of the money that was spent on the place.
Fair enough. You don't mind if we could borrow it for a bit, could you?
They both pause for a moment and then they share a glance. What do you need it for?
We have a couple of prisoners that we really don't want getting out. They're majorly magics. You know.
Roll me persuasion check.
Alright, persuasion. Come on, buddy.
I mean, I know you're the followers and all, but it was very expensive to get made. You understand that, right?
Yeah, I do.
I'll tell you what. We'll get started on uninstalling it and writing up how you activate it and that, and how you set its radius and all that. And you go convince our head saver. He's in the little fortress over there. It's a sloth hen king yokai. You can't miss him.
Alright, well, we'll see what happens. Thanks anyway, guys.
They give a wave and then they head into the Colosseum.
Alright, well, we got our next stop. Let's move, everybody.
Down this way, right?
Yep.
You head on in through the open door and you see a few people practicing on training dummies, a couple sharpening blades. And, in the center, overseeing all of this, you see the Sloth Hengen Yokai watching all this with a practiced and very stern gaze, which eventually becomes focused on you.
Alex approaches him, back straight, rather professional, and holds out his hand. You're Saber, correct?
Saber.
Saber.
Like savor the food. Except it's... My mother hated me. What do you want?
Well, she clearly missed out.
I'm gonna give him a bardic inspiration.
care.
All right, that's a D10, right?
I think it is. It is a D10.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Saver just looks to your hand and then looks back up to you and then says, "What do you want?"
All right then. Now, the magical crystal that you've got locked in the dungeon of the Colosseum. We would like to borrow it for a bit, if it's at all possible.
He lifts a finger and then he turns and he calls out, "Hey, wizard guy, can you just check they're not an illusion or anything?" You see this very young and spry Volkshengen yokai with, well, it's a bright red Volkshengen yokai with like this white puff of fur at the end of their tail and a little wizard hat on it, and they go, I'm sorry, I'm coming. And he staggers out with his book in his hand, trips, falls, and then runs back, gets up, runs over, and he goes, just a moment, and I just need to, I need to cast a spell magic on you. It's just a formality to make sure you are who you say you are. Yeah, I'm sorry. And he begins rapidly casting with this, like, very flailing and hasty look, and, yeah, he casts the spell magic on you, and, naturally nothing happens, and, after a moment he's like, he closes the book and he's like, I think that worked. I think that worked.
Dennis.
It's all worked out.
Dennis.
Go on.
Dennis crouches down and says, "Have you tried to detect magic instead?"
I can't cast that yet. Yes, I did the spell. They're not magical in any way, so I mean they are magical, but they're not disguised. So shut up.
Oddly enough, I still
Thank
like
you.
him more than Dennis.
Thank you. You may go. Yeah. And the little fox just sort of goes back to where he came from.
Nice kid.
He's still an apprentice, but it was all the people at Frozen could spare us.
All I could spare. That's interesting.
Yeah, apparently they're preparing for that war thing.
Well, I mean, considering we've kind of, yeah, makes sense.
Alright.
But anyways,
You are who you say you are, so, he pulls out a piece of paper and he begins writing on it, just like an official statement saying that you're allowed to borrow it for the duration of the war, and that if you want it for any longer, that money will have to be exchanged, and, you know, there's an amount put on there. I'll figure that out later, but, yeah, blah blah blah, you're allowed to borrow it, but if you want to keep it, you have to come back and actually pay for it. And then he hands it to you, and then he says, "Alright, so, just need you to sign this," and, he signs it. And, then I'll get our wizard friend to make a copy, and, yeah.
Alex closely inspects it for any dubious clauses.
There's a brief clause there that does state if you take too long after the war, that you forfeit any chance that the price will triple if you take too long after the war. But they don't state how long after the war counts as too long.
He points at it and he says, "How long is too long?"
Saver, seeing that he's been caught out, just gives a sort of like business smile and he says, "How does a year sound?"
That sounds fair. Yeah. A year starting from when the signature is placed on the paper.
Alright, and he takes the paper back and pulls out a new piece and writes it out and then offers it for you. And this time that it passes, there's no suspicious wording or anything.
Trying to pull the wool over on a businessman.
He didn't know you were a businessman.
But yeah, he checks it over again, has everyone else look over it, and if they agree to the terms or not.
Do you guys agree to the terms?
The length of the war is all we should need it for.
This is true.
Alright then. Alex doesn't put down his actual signature, he just puts the followers on the signature.
Okay. He looks
Wait,
to-
can I see that? I'll put the heart on the paper too.
Okay. Xavier looks to it, and he gives a sigh and he says, I'm gonna need your proper signatures.
Fine.
At
If I
least
find my
one of
name on...
you.
Alright, well, he turns and looks to Kagura. Seeing as this is more or less, let's say, a kingdom war now, would you like this to be your first declaration?
Guess I might as well. Start getting used to this.
And too bad you can't put a royal seal on it, but it is what it is.
My name should be more than enough.
Alright, go for it.
Kagura goes up and puts Kagura La Nethwa on the paper.
Alright, the man looks it over and then he folds it up, leaves briefly, and then returns with 2 identical copies, one of which he hands to you and the other he shows to you to prove they're both identical. Alright, it's all yours to take.
Alright then.
Thank you.
Pleasure doing business with you.
He nods. Is there anything else you guys do?
Well, I'm headed. Well, I've come to a decision on the information I learned recently, and I'm heading over to Maggie's bar right now.
Alright, give me a second to set the map up.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Mislead and wander away from the party.
Alright, you wander away successfully.
Yeah, I told the party.
I don't. I'm still there.
Just puts up a cardboard copy of herself.
Yeah, that's what I imagine.
Out of curiosity, do you decide to actually listen so you know when we're leaving, or do you just leave your copy there?
A copy there. I'll tune in and out every now and then.
Alright, Nelly got the map. Nelly got it done. Okay, here you go, Vienna. It's the inn.
Right.
Maggie's behind the desk. There's quite a few patrons. The bar seems very busy and lively and active, and I'm actually gonna do it. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna find a free table. There doesn't seem to be one.
There you go.
Right, so I'm gonna just I'm gonna grab 2 drinks from Actually, no. First, I'm gonna send another message. I'm gonna cast sending, and I'm gonna send a message to Lariska.
Okay.
Come to the come to the tavern. We have some things to talk about.
You hear a voice briefly. There's a moment of silence, and then you hear a voice say, "Oh, alright." And shortly after, the disguised...
Yeah, like before she gets here, or like I purchased 2 middle shelf drinks from Maggie.
A middle shelf, I'd say about a gold would get you both.
Noted.
Because you're not going for the cheap stuff and you're not going for the high quality stuff. So
Yeah.
it'd be about 5
Like-
silver each, so...
Yeah. Very well then. Vierna to Sin does not buy cheap.
Okay. By the time you
Ye-
sit down, you see the disguised Lariska walk in and take a seat. She looks
I
Go on.
like I slide her nail. So you earned your freedom.
It's funny how a war can change perspectives on certain misdeeds. I'm doing
Really?
what you would call community service, shall we say.
And who exactly sentenced you to that?
Oh, people in Former, I believe it was, or was it,
Not what I was expecting.
Yes, I got shipped to Fulmar, and then they said, hey, we're running a war. If you help us out, we'll lower your sentence. Only, well, I mean, how low can a sentence be when you're already free?
Indeed. In that case, I don't suppose you. In that case, I don't suppose you still keep your ear to the ground in the underworld.
I keep my ear out, as any sensible woman does.
And what have you heard apart from the obvious?
Well, that depends. Are you looking for information on Prosh or on pirates? She takes the drink and sips it.
That'd be a good start.
Which one?
Well, let's start. Well, let's start with some of the ones that that escaped from our little scuffle.
Alright. Well, you will be very delighted to know, I'm sure, that every one of them is now currently alive.
And it was all of them then, not just Cleaver. Don't suppose you know where they are.
Oh, they're on a small little island. I'm sure you've heard of it.
There's a lot of small little islands. You're gonna have to be more specific than that.
Does Grimlock ring any bells?
Does it? Our
Well,
character does it?
you should know of it, yes, because if I pull you over to the map, you were told about Grimlock Island being where the treasure was, way back, that you
Yeah, I
were going
remember
to
that.
visit.
And it's also the place where Heron betrayed me. Like, so Vierna's eyes harden when she hears that name. Yeah, that means something to me.
Well, you know how it is. The leaders of Grimlock Island tend to be rather attached to their best underlings.
Okay, next question. Cleaver said you were all working for some necromphis or something.
Oh, he said that much. Wow.
Well, admittedly, I was kind of forcing his tongue with magic.
I see. He's not going to live that one down.
Well, he wasn't alive at all at the time.
Yeah, that's true. Ah, yes, Necromphis. He is one of the leaders of Grimlock Island. He's the one in charge of slavery. You know, that sort of business.
Could you tell me a little bit more about him?
Well, he likes to ride around on a Draco Lich.
The fuck? Like, that one is visibly throwing Vierna for a loop. Like, okay, that you'd think that would attract more attention.
He's very good at staying under the radar.
While flying on a Dracolich.
Yeah, he doesn't fly around very much. He's a bit too well-rounded for that, shall we say.
Hmm.
I cannot give you many details as, well, I would like to be able to go back there, eventually. It's very hard to get some high-quality drinks without going through certain channels.
I see.
No, he's not the real problem though. The one you should watch out for is Dr. Morals.
Does that name mean anything to me? Out of
Nope.
character?
First time you're hearing it.
Hi. And what's his story?
He is the doctor that nightmares are made of, shall we say. He has a 5% success rate, but that 5% is quite deadly.
Well, the last doctor I met trapped at my hometown in a time loop. I can't wait to
Actually-
find up to.
Actually, I just remembered something. Roll me a history check. Just to see if you do remember, because I just remembered this.
Okay, 17?
Yeah, okay. Very
Yeah, like-
briefly, while you were still with the syndicate, it was a very, very brief meeting. One of the few times that all of the syndicate were in the same room with you and Julie and yeah, your father might have been there too. Like, that was how long ago it was. And you all briefly met with a doctor named Dr. Morals.
Oh, wait, Morals. I actually kind of remember that name. Gray hair, glasses, stitches all over.
Yes, that's him indeed.
I think he met with my mother once, actually.
He is known to be full hire to the highest bidder.
Okay, well, these nightmares you say he makes, what exactly are they?
Well, if you were there, I'm sure you might have met one of them. And I'm gonna need you to roll another history check,
Will do.
just because.
16.
Okay. And it's then that you remember very, very, very briefly you saw a centaur. Very briefly at the door, talk to Dr. Morals before wandering away. You didn't catch her name, but you did get her appearance.
I mean, the only person I saw with him was a centaur. I wouldn't call them nightmares. I mean, maybe Alar sometimes when it's in a bad mood, but still.
Let's just say appearances can be deceiving.
Oh, don't I know that? And I take a big gulp of my drink.
Is there anything else I can help you with? I really should get back to work.
Just one. Heron, where specifically on the island is he?
I don't know specifics as I've not been back there since I was serving my time, shall we say.
Well,
But you could always send him a message.
That's true, I could. And then he'd run. I don't want him to run.
Very well. Luska slowly rises and drowns the rest of a drink. Thank you for the decent drink.
And thank you for the decent information. See ya.
She gives a wave and she heads on out of the pub.
I give her a wave.
Do you head on out?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is everyone else doing? Hello, what are you doing?
I was gonna head into the town area or the trading area and try to rally up some soldiers ready to fight for our side.
Alright, roll persuasion with disadvantage. Just because they're traders, not fighters.
There is no mercenaries? That's what I was looking for.
There are a few mercenaries, but they're more scattered around the city. They appear to be already on the job.
Okay.
Alright, Alex, what is everyone else there doing?
Finishing up the contract and picking up the crystal.
Alright, you pick it up and you're given a basic how to set it up and how to get it attuned to a specific area, that sort of thing. From what you can gather, from what the instructions say, there's small crystals that you outline specific areas, and the crystal will detect these and render them unable to be and the crystal will then render them anti-magic zones.
All right. Well, yeah, that's set up while we're here and getting prepared to move out.
I will add that to your area later, but for now, just know you've got that installed.
Did I succeed in teaching the apprentice?
You did. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, his tail is like wagging super fast.
I give him a head scratch and say, that should help you a bit better.
Oh, thank you so much. You must be the legendary Dennis Merlin.
I am.
Oh, wow. Can I get your autograph?
He takes for a while, he's like, sure. And he writes it down on something.
Can you
And hands
just,
it to him.
I hate to ask this, but can you just explode something for me? I really want to see something explode.
Do you have like a old test dummy thing that you're okay with that your guy's okay with losing?
Slaver just gives a sigh and just points to one of the older dummies that's been stashed in a corner.
Dennis relocates it to a clear area where other things won't be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then drops a lightning ball on it.
Alright. The entire area suddenly bursts out into a big flame that everyone can see, and the red fox just gasps and goes, "Oh wow!"
I said lightning.
Big lightning ball then, okay?
Mhm.
And the fox goes, "That was amazing! You can make lightning balls?"
You can too if you train hard enough.
Oh man, I have to get started right away. And he just watches he runs back inside. So what's everyone else doing? Alex, Gazura,
Alex
Barbara?
is just Alex is just kind of getting ready to head out to nowhere, and he's just waiting for everyone else.
Alright.
I
Fiona,
remember.
Grisera's ready to go. She just wants to get out of somewhere.
Alright. Then Vienna, okay? What were you saying?
There's a thing I also wanted to do inside the thing, inside the pocket dimension. I remembered what it was now.
Alright, well, I'll get to that in a second. Write it down so you don't forget it. With your persuasion, you managed to convince roughly about 10 people that when the armies start to march through, they'll join up with them.
Okay.
So, rewinding time. Blah, 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 blah. Back to the Demi plane. What did you want to do?
I wanted to speak to Carrig.
Alright. You find him sipping his cup of coffee.
Carrig, correct?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something. Now that I'm calm.
Yeah.
She takes a breath and then she exhales. Do you know of a centaur that wasn't part of the tribe recently? Have you seen?
Santa. There was that, and he's cut off as Felicia screeches out, "Don't you dare tell her anything! If you do, I will scream for 6 hours straight!" Carrie glances over, and he then looks to Alara and then says, "Sorry, my hands are tied."
Kagura hears this and he calls out, "You know we can gag you, you know."
I can still scream through a gag!
Then I'll just I'll have someone cast silence on your cell.
That only lasts an hour!
Is her hands on the metal bars?
At the moment, yes.
An hour will be long enough. An hour will be long enough for Alara to get what she needs from him.
Not if he's silenced!
It would just be your cell.
You get no response. Except for a sudden ow! She rubs her hands together.
Alara whistles instantly and then just walks away. Thank you.
I hate you so much.
Me or him?
She's gonna try and attack you. Let me get up her spell. Look, she's not very smart.
this is true.
Let's see.
Does she have a spell focus, actually? Can she even do that?
She has some natural abilities.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll just cast levitate on you and make you fall right onto your crops.
That will require a
Yeah,
concentration.
I know. I'm getting to it. So I need you to roll a con save. The DC is 15.
Okay.
And
I did not succeed.
here's the kicker though. The spell doesn't work if you're over 500 pounds, and you are. So all that happens is you sort of slightly drag towards it, and she's sort of going, "Ugh." And then you feel the spell sort of end as after it just drops you harmlessly onto the dirt.
Huh. I feel insulted in a way, but I'm okay with this.
And then the screaming starts, but by that point you guys are already heading on your way, so you don't have to suffer it.
Okay.
Regardless, Fiona, you had something you wanted to do?
Well, I've already done it.
Alright, so you were just saying you're heading back to the group?
Yeah.
Alright. So you all regroup.
the demi-large fades, and she just walks back up to him. Hey, guys.
You ducked out when we were discussing business, didn't you?
What? I don't do boring talk, Alex.
All right. Well, where'd you head off to?
Talking to some people down over at the trading routes, mercenaries mainly, trying to get them on our side.
Fair enough. Hopefully they'll consider it.
So,
Well, are we all ready to head to nowhere?
Ready
I'm
whenever
ready.
you are.
All right. Well, let's get moving.
alright, let me just check the map is all set. Yep, okay, won't need that token, won't need that token. Okay. So, Vienna, is there anything you want to do before we head out?
Not at all. I believe that's the third time you asked me.
Sorry. This was more, now you're back with the group, was there anything? Just to clarify. But,
That's a bet.
I'm just fixing up the audio and, okay. You all head to nowhere. The town is still and silent.
Alex just kind of... Sorry.
Go on.
Alex just kind of looks around and he just calls out, "Hello? Anyone?"
After a moment, you hear your voice echo out very faintly. Hello? Anyone? I can't mimic your voice, but it was in your voice.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex looks really distressed.
What's going on? This town was packed last time we were here.
The last time was packed by the syndicate. The rest of the town already evacuated.
Yeah, but there's no reason, and for that to have there's no reason for that to have changed. In
The
fact,
war
we were going to
changes
change
it.
that ourselves.
Yeah, maybe they moved back to Lundruk to assist in keeping that place safe.
That
Alex,
wishful thinking.
Alex remembers that Felicia was extorting the magic shop or general store. So he goes to check if anyone's in there.
You find the store creaks open, the sign half hanging off, and the inside just left as it was. Items and objects, food, starting to really smell and has clearly been left out for far too long. Just abandoned. Nothing taken.
Gods, what happened after we came here?
Is there anything in the general store, or that spoils or would give off a foul odor after a long period of time?
Yes, that's what I just described, that the vegetables and fresh produce have gone off.
Oh God, it reeks in here. When was the last time anyone has been in this place?
Is it bad enough that I should make a con save or something?
It's not that bad, but it's clearly getting there. Like, if you spent any stretch of time in there, you would have to roll.
Okay. Dennis enters the area and then just promptly leaves.
Yerna enters the area and just starts casting prestidigitation on herself just to not smell it.
Fair enough.
Alex stands there for a minute and he looks towards the direction of the guild and he just starts moving.
Dennis follows.
You slowly step up the familiar road, once full of cheery and happy people. You look around, and all you see is just silence and quiet. You wander the halls, the map's abandoned, all still fairly new after they were replaced by the Syndicate. You wander past the graveyard, a shovel placed against one grave, and you make your way up towards your house. Just abandoned and rebuilt, identical, but it just feels empty. The only sign of life, that one shovel.
This is creeping Dennis out. So he's going to start detecting magic.
You do not detect any magic.
Alex just walks up to his home and just shoves the door open.
In place of the normal family portrait, you see a picture of Artemis Goldgill. Seems they found it and they tried to restore it. It's a little broken and damaged, but you see your old ancestor there, hanging on the wall, if you'd like to describe him.
Artemis, despite how grandiose some ancestors typically are, he seems like a very muted man. Slightly pale skin, long black hair. He seems somewhat unremarkable, yet you can tell from the look that he knew just about life in general. Not just that, but he seemed very smart, as if you wouldn't be surprised if he probably had the magical knowledge on the level of a wizard. And Alara especially, but I imagine quite a few others will also notice that he seemed to be trying to hide his ears, but you can clearly tell he's a half-elf. Alex is just kind of standing there looking at the portrait, just not saying anything.
Alara tries to gather the thoughts and draw up her own conclusion of the matter. So, Syndicate controlled the area. People already evacuated and went into hiding. Syndicate went away because of the war. But what happened to all the warlocks?
That's what I want to know.
Maybe the Syndicate took them with him?
Chances are, yeah. If the move from... If her trying to keep everyone up... Well, if her trying to keep everyone in Lundrock hostage was any indication, she probably feels as though she can do the same with the warlocks. I've said it once before and I'll say it again. That's the sign of a desperate individual.
Allah. While you were passing Azor and following Alex, Fiona, you would have noticed this too. You noticed a blood trail briefly leading towards the graveyard.
I send Valen that way, looking through his eyes.
Alara would follow Valen in this particular case. Without a word for the moment.
You step into the graveyard. Quiet, somber. You notice a freshly dug grave right by where the shovel is. Clearly the bodies had been buried there, though you do notice that one grave has been opened.
What's on the headstone?
Artemis Goldgale.
Okay, I pop. Artemis was like the half-elf founder, right?
He was one
Yes,
of the
he was
founders,
more.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, like Vienna like snapped out of it, and it didn't tell Alex. Alex, that Artemis, your ancestor, Artemis. I think someone dug up his grave.
Who?
I don't know.
A blood trail. They were damaged? No, that's not right.
What could you discern from the blood trail?
It
That
led
someone
from
would-
a door that was closed to the graveyard where they were buried.
All our
Or-
locks.
Or it went from the graveyard to the door.
Either or.
I'm gonna look in the closed door.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my mic was being weird. As you open the door... Oh, Mike. As you open the door, you immediately smell the fresh scent of blood. Maybe a couple of days ago. The entire room has just pools of blood around it. And in the center is a small runic circle that is glowing and is slowly draining the blood from the buckets and puddles.
I
Yeah,
this
no.
won't help too much. Sorry.
Vienna, you recognize this as some high level necromancy.
To what purpose?
You would need to roll an Arcana check for that.
Okay.
Do that.
I'll give Vienna Bardic Inspiration.
Okay, that'll be a D10 at this level, I believe. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 14 altogether.
15.
15, that's 15.
Unfortunately, the magic is too high a level. You're not able to discern what its purpose was.
Someone was up to someone was doing some kind of necromancy here. I'd have to know the incantation they were using to know what they were doing.
Did the party divert to the graveyard, or did everyone just move on? I'm trying to determine if Dennis is present.
You're either with Alex in his home, you're at the door with the blood rune, or you're at the graveyard.
I think I followed Alex, but then Alex responded to Vienna, and that's what confused me.
Vierna sent her familiar ahead to check shit out. Still
Yeah, and she stayed with Alex.
Yeah, I'm like dipping in and out with my familiar.
Okay. Dennis says, do you want me to give it a try? Where is it?
In the graveyard.
Dennis heads to the graveyard to take a look at it.
It's in the room.
Alright, roll Arcana, and you can roll it if you want to, Allah, but it'll be disadvantaged because you've had no experience with necromancy.
No, I know. I'm not gonna roll it because I wouldn't
Okay.
know.
Unfortunately, you don't recognize the magic either, Dennis.
I have been feeding books to my book in the meantime, so I pull them out. And Dexter, do you recognize this?
Roll one more Arcana for your book. I do not.
Alex just sighs, and he's clearly needed to sit down after all this.
Anything else you guys want to do?
Alex just starts rubbing his temples, and he says, "It's easy to tell what happened here."
Everyone's dead?
No, not everyone is dead.
Everyone
Specifically, everyone left. Yes, that would be the most logical conclusion. But I mean the obvious here. Someone has resurrected my ancestor.
Why would they do that, though?
Simple manipulation. Some kind of ally that they can use against me in a fight. Don't sit there and tell me that this isn't something you'd expect Jule to do.
I'm not saying it's not something she would do, but how would could she really earn someone's ancestor on their own descendant like that easily?
She would need she'd need a powerful cleric in order to do that. Otherwise, she'd just get a regular zombie, which wouldn't be much use.
Vienna, roll Arcana for me just one last time.
Yeah, like Vienna Vienna knows the strongest thing she could make without a cleric, and yeah, it's not strong enough to be a real threat to us.
Okay, roll me one last Arcana. Okay.
Natural 20.
You know, in a flash of brilliant light, that you've seen necromancers from the city capable of resurrecting someone almost near identical to what they were in real life, with some minor issues such as not being able to speak, or not being able to really carry things because their muscles aren't developed, being mindless, that sort of thing. But it typically takes quite a lot of sacrifice.
Actually, there is one way. She would have had to kill a lot of people in order to do it, though. Of course, she did it.
You're
Still not sure what.
Better.
Yeah, but like it. Yeah, but he'd be too weak to actually do anything or fight. So I'm not really sure why she would do it. Like, he wouldn't be a lot of use to her in that condition.
Well, let's not go there until we know for sure that's what happened.
Alex just sighs, and he looks like he was on the verge of being infuriatingly angry, but he just seems deflated now.
Well,
I'm
Vienna
so fucking sick of your mother.
Join the club. Now, Vienna pulls out her scrying orb, and he's going to cast scrying on Artemis Goldgale.
All right.
She has seen his image.
Okay. Let me just check something really quick.
And actually, hold on. And wait, before she does that, she's gonna head. She's gonna head into the grave and see if there's anything of his is that she can use as a focus.
You might find like a tiny little thumb bone or something.
A bit of bone will suffice. Will suffice quite well.
I was going to say it counts as a body part.
So wisdom. Okay.
Yeah. DC 18. Yeah, he doesn't have a yeah, no.
You materialize in and you look around. You see, indeed, Artemis Goldgale standing there. He's in oddly enough, he's in what appears to be a suit of armor. With the helmet off.
What? Just like full plate?
Yep.
Like Vierna's just thinking, oh, fuck, they've made some advancements while I was gone.
You also notice another figure.
And who might that figure be?
It's a deep gnome.
Hey, Syndicate has plenty of those working for it. Do I recognize this?
You do. You recognize it as Tolan.
Ah, fuck me.
Now what?
You
Okay,
also see a centaur with blazing orange hair.
Wait, it's not Eris, is it?
No, it's not Eris. You don't recognize them.
Oh, I see what you're doing, Mother.
And that's all you see before your scrying spell is abruptly shoved out and you return to your body.
Well, okay, you know how I just said that that he'd be too weak to be of use to her?
She's using him as fodder, isn't
I don't think she is, because he was wearing a suit of plate armor. He should not be able. He's strong enough to do that.
Wait.
Plate.
No, wait. Weren't they working on some necromancy with living armor?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
They did have living armor guarding the gates at Lundruk.
Crap. Well, I saw. Well, there were a couple of other people there. I know who. There were a couple of other things, people who'd been revived in this way. I know who one of them is, and I can guess the other one's your mother, Eller.
Wait, what?
I saw a deep gnome. Well, there was a deep gnome, an old butler who there was a deep gnome named Tolan, and an old friend of mine who my mother had killed, and there was a centaur, a woman with flaming red hair.
So, if I'm hearing you correctly, she intends to use the people who we care about most who have passed against us.
Well, I guess so. I mean, I assume she's dominated all their minds.
Oh no.
And what does she intend to get out of this?
I don't know, maybe make us hesitate during the final battle or something?
Well, guess again. I won't hesitate. Artemis has long since passed away. Him living as that now is him suffering. And I will not allow that. Putting him out of his misery will be a mercy.
He makes such good speeches, you know that?
This is actually kind of odd, though. When someone calls the soul back to the body, the soul knows the alignment of the person who cast the spell.
Yeah, well, I mean, I imagine... Well, again, master of mind control, it wouldn't have been too hard for Julie to get at around that particular obstacle.
True.
Exactly.
She can
And
call
well,
back
Controlling a person's
Guys?
very
Hello?
it's okay.
No,
forgot
you were
it.
saying something. Controlling a person's.
controlling controlling a person in their very soul before it's even back in their body.
I'm just guessing here at this point. Like, this is necromancy I didn't even know existed outside the realm of divine magic.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am so fucking sick of your mother at this point.
Wait,
I mean, not sure why she went with Tolan for me. I mean, he was literally just a butler who used to sneak me treats from the commissary and then got caught embezzling money. He wasn't a fighter.
If I had to guess as to the reason why, she's making a statement. All those that defy her will be crushed under her heel and be forced to serve her. At least, that's my guess.
I mean, she'd probably put it a little bit more offensively than you, but sure.
wait.
Look, I'm just completely confuzzled because my ancestor was grudged out of his fucking grave and then just resurrected. Cut me a little slack, will you?
Yeah, I know.
Say, what would happen if we dispelled the magic?
I don't know.
It's
They'll all
taking-
drop dead.
It is draining the blood from the buckets, yes?
Wait. Father told me something when I was talking to him.
Yes.
He said that mother stayed in Prosh voluntarily. Yet if Julie was the one who brought her back to life, he said
Then it would be far too easy for her to dominate her.
he even told me Julie was the one who actually hired the goblins to kill my parents.
Well, more of the story is she doesn't take chances. If she can make you do what she wants you to do, then, well, she'll just use magic.
She inherited just another crime family, basically, and spun it into a kingdom to rival the one in Lundruck. There's a reason she was able to do that.
Well, I don't know about all of you, but after we've grabbed the wizards and searched for a few more associates, I'd say it's about time we started plotting her demise.
Sounds like a good idea. Should I dispel this now?
I mean,
About time, says Grisera.
you say started. I've been plotting her demise for months now.
I mean, actually putting into an effect.
I'm not gonna get into an argument and with semantics with you. Let's just do this thing.
So, Dennis dispels the glowing rune and it slowly fades away, becoming just a mess of blood and guts and whatever else was used to create it. The room remains silent. Everything is just quiet in this town. But you found out some new information at least. And that is where we're going to end this session. thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week, where we'll be storming Lundruck. After a little talk with some wizards, of course.
Prosh.
Prosh.
Prosh, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. Alright. See you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye.